Hey, welcome back. It's May 10th, already May 10th. How are you doing, Sarah?
Good. Happy Mother's Day to you ladies.
Oh, thank you.
I hope you guys had a good Mother's Day.
Yeah. Speaking of mothers, I'm in my bedroom. Don't mind my backdrop because my daughter's having a nap. And if she wakes up crying, my husband will take care of it. So that's why I just welcome to my humble abode.
Oh my gosh. So I'm not a mom. Most people know that I'm not a mom, but I used to babysit my nephew. And I remember one time he fell asleep in the car, and like the golden rule is don't wake them up when they're sleeping. So I sat in the car for like an hour and a half while he slept because I didn't want to like risk waking him up.
So true. Been there, done that. I literally just let them sleep and do what I got to do on my phone. So good. Yeah. So today we have a very special guest here, Danielle Ruban, and she is going to tell you some real good things today. So welcome, Danielle. How are you doing?
I'm amazing. Thank you. I'm so excited. We got my son a trampoline for his birthday, and I'm like, it's all ready. It's over there. I'm like, I want to go jump. But I'm good, and I'm really excited to share some good stuff today, hopefully.
We're super pumped. So Kaily and I actually work with Danielle. She is a mindset, fitness, nutritionist coach, and she is absolutely skilled at what she does. And she's transforming lives. If you guys haven't, go check her out on Instagram or Facebook because you're going to see massive transformations.
I just raised my hand because like my life's transforming from her, literally.
I'm so honored to work with you guys. I love how we met, and I love how just what you've done so far in the program has allowed you to show up with more energy and more power, like in the amazing things that you guys are doing. So really, it's an honor to support you with that.
I'm finally able to match my husband's energy in the morning. That man, I don't know what it is that he has in the morning, but he has so much energy.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
So, Danielle, how did you get into doing what you're doing?
How much time have you got? No.
You have abundance of time.
Oh, man. I guess what's the fast version of it? Like mindset, fitness, coaching. Well, I've been in the online coaching space for 10 years. And before that, I was a personal trainer. And before that, I was like a bartender. Woohoo. So, and I was just realizing that I wanted, more out of life than like slinging drinks and feeding people's addictions. So I was like, okay, I need to get the hell out of here and do something like helpful with people, right? So that got me into personal training, and personal training got me into fitness competitions. And from there, I got into the online coaching space. And I used to work with competitors because that's what I did. I was, I'm retired now, but a professional IFBB fitness pro. So those like high kicks, the one arm push-ups, like that thing that we were just talking about earlier. Yeah. And that was really great for a while, but it was very extreme. And I couldn't see myself becoming a mom and doing that crazy amount of exercise and dieting and just having that tunnel vision working towards, a moment in time of sparkling on stage. I was like, no, there's got to be more to it than that. But I did not know what that looked like. So I guess we'll get into that today. But I would say for the last 3 years, since 3 or 4 years, I've been doing more mindset, lifestyle, sustainable approach towards having a healthy body that you love.
So were you always into fitness, like even before bartending? Like, has it always been in your life?
Yeah, like I was a competitive gymnast up until the age of 13 or so. And then I dabbled in track and field and things like that. And I always just loved the feeling of exercise and flipping around and playing. So yeah, there was probably bouts of time where I there were times where I would neglect my body, but it was always something therapeutic, I think, that I came back to. Just feeling your body, and it's a good escape.
So like being in fitness and, growing up in gymnastics and track and field, it's pretty competitive, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I think that is a great thing because it teaches you to focus on a goal and work towards that goal and learn to push through your failures. But at the same time, I find, and I work with people who have been competitors in the past, it gives you that all or nothing black and white thinking, which can really go against you when you're trying to create sustainable results in your fitness. Because if you fall off the wagon, you just like beat yourself up. It's not good enough. It's not good enough. And it's like, where did we learn that?
Yeah.
How is that helpful?
So true.
I think it is.
Yeah.
Seriously, like when I was younger, that was my mindset with everything, right? Is you had to be good. You had to have people look at you and think, wow, but I wasn't happy on the inside. So nutrition is really, really helping me right now with your program, Danielle. And it's literally changed everything for me and what I feed my body. Is like, has nutrition always been a part of your life, or how did you come into diving into that part of your coaching?
Well, it didn't come from a really healthy place, like growing up in the sport of gymnastics. It's very seems like all the gymnasts who do well are very tiny and petite. And then I was kind of taller and bigger. And so I was like, well, if I lose weight, maybe I'll be better at gymnastics, or maybe I'll be, all the reasons why we get told that we should be small and desirable and all this. So I think I got into food obsession and dieting from an unhealthy place. And in fact, I had an eating disorder from maybe, a good 20 years, if you believe that, all different kinds. And so throughout that time, I would learn all about nutrition and diet and extremes. And I was obsessed with being able to control my body because things were going on in the background and in my home life. And that was my way of coping. And so really studying the body and nutrition and things like that from a place of this is my control. So that's why I know all the different extremes out there, because that's what I did. But I'm glad I was there, because it really gave me clarity of now I know exactly what balance is, because it's not any of those things, those places where I was. So at one point, I got into this, the professional competing and stuff like that. And you have to be so micromanaging your foods and your exercise, down to the smallest detail. And I had competed 7 pro shows in 1 year. And that was so taxing on me mentally and physically that what ended up happening was I had adrenal fatigue and leaky gut syndrome. And my hormones were a hot mess. I had really beat my body into the ground. And then all of a sudden, that illusion of control I had was gone. My body started retaliating in a crazy way. I gained weight rapidly. My joints hurt. I was inflamed. I had a monstrous appetite. And nothing that I was trying to do to keep it under control was working. I would just try to exercise more with absolutely zero energy. I would try to cut back calories more, eat as clean as a whistle, and nothing was happening. And so I was 30 pounds up after my last show, and I'm trying to have a date night with my husband, and we're looking at the menu, and I'm I can't have that, I can't have that, I shouldn't have that, and my jeans were dugging into me, and I'm just so uncomfortable in the booth in my body, and I'm just I'm miserable, and I'm tears looking at him, and he's you can stop, hun. And I was no, I can't. Who the hell am I if I'm not doing this? To answer your question, I had to help my body, and I didn't know what to do. Everything that I thought I knew was not working. And so that's when I sought out help, and I worked with a naturopath and a coach who had been through something similar, and she had a big background in nutrition. And so from there, I ate for the first time to heal my body and nourish it and honor it from a place of helping it to be healthy versus trying to get it to look a certain way. And I think that's where the biggest mindset came from. I'm doing this to help heal myself, not to try and make myself look like a certain image. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And thank you so much for sharing. I have tears in my eyes now because, I know nobody can see you, Danielle, but eating disorders really come in all shapes and sizes. I came to you because I resonate with you, and you're so real, and you're so raw, and you're so honest, and you tell me straight up, you're no BS, Sara, this is what you need to do. When you told me I had to quit coffee, I was oh my God, I'm gonna murder Donnie. But now the more that I'm doing it, it's all mindset, and it's nourishment versus punishment.
Yeah.
And I grew up, like, you know, my story, I grew up, you know, I never competed. I always got a note when I didn't want to do track and field, or when I was too embarrassed to do gymnastics. I was always got a note. My dad wrote me a note for everything. So I didn't compete in anything except the chips at the end of the day. And I got them every single day because I asked for them and I always got it. And my dad always said, and this is a huge paradigm that I'm still overcoming, is food is the only luxury we could afford. We never traveled. We never got fancy things. We didn't drive fancy cars. We didn't live in a fancy neighborhood. But the food that we ate was all that we had. So when I think of food, I think of luxury and not nourishment. So it's all mindset.
Yeah, you can totally change your story around food.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and the meaning behind it, because food is associated with love and comfort a lot of times, because it's given to us by our caregivers and our grandparents, and it's shown like here, and they're like, eat more. And so it's like, there's so many ways we mix it up, or like, you know, you learn if you're having a bad day, here, have some ice cream, right? But like, when you don't learn the coping skills for how hard life is, when food is always the answer, and then what happens?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It really changed my perspective of food when I looked at my body as my vehicle through life, right? If you get in your car to drive everywhere you go, and you don't just throw shit in the gas tank and think it's going to go, right? And get you through places in life that you need to get. The same way now that I look at my body is I fuel it with the nutritious things that I need and things that are going to make me feel good to get me where I need to go, because that's exactly what our body is, right? It's just a vehicle for our soul to move through life. And it really changed everything for my mindset on myself, like literally how I see myself, how I feel about myself, the thoughts that I think about my personal image. When I started thinking about how it made me feel and not worrying about how others seen me. But when I think about food, I think about what it's going to do for me, because I know, like, I can have a craving and I can go and grab, you know, chips or ice cream or something that's not going to make me feel good. Where in the moment I'm eating it and I'm excited because it's hitting that craving and the thoughts that I have of past eating. But then when I'm done, I'm sitting on the couch and I think I feel like shit and I'm still hungry because that didn't do anything for me. Right? So it's a huge mindset shift when you literally think about food and it fueling you. And like you said, Danielle, you try to fit this certain image of how others are going to look at you, and you're not thinking about you and how you feel and what you need to do. It's just a lot of the world and society does that. And look at the magazines, right? They post models in this tiny shape, and if you're over the size 12, you're plus size or whatever it is. I don't even know. But that's the image that they make society think they need to be.
Totally. And I had like scrapbooks full of magazine pictures of like these tiny, like Victoria's Secret models. And I thought that's who I needed to be. I kind of had this like ugly duckling syndrome, I think, where I was just like, I was made fun of for my big ears or like being pale, or I don't know, just all things, right? And so I was like, well, maybe if I look good, I could be immune to pain. You know what I mean? So I think my body became like my armor in one way. And I was like, if I look acceptable, people won't hurt me, or people can't touch me. So it's kind of backwards how like you recognize right now how you want to show up in the world. You have a grand vision. And I think that's what is really helping you right now to get through those moments where you can see beyond the bag of chips, right? And you can play the tape to the end of, if I eat the bag of chips, then I'll feel like shit, then I won't be able to live my purpose. Like it goes that much deeper, right? Whereas me, I was like, I don't think I even knew who I was, but I just knew that like, it wasn't enough. I knew it wasn't, there was something, I really believe there was something inherently wrong with me. And so I would just try to fit in by looking, thin or whatever.
You totally look like a Victoria's Secret model. Like you're probably one of the most beautiful people I've ever come across.
You're so kind.
But you're absolutely right though. So being a dieter for 30 years, like I've always been told to watch my weight from my family. They've said bad things about me. Like some things have been ingrained in me, and I've done diets and I could drop 80 pounds if I wanted to. But again, it's the mindset because I can gain it right back 2 months later. But if I wasn't in this material of studying my mindset, if I didn't have a mentor like you who shows up for me and gives me the kick in the ass that I need, if I didn't have that, I don't think that I'd be where I am right now. Like, I think it's the most important. Like, we can do it on our own, but like you said, it's not sustainable.
Yeah. And when you think about anything amazing that you've created in your life where you're like, how the hell did I get here? You know what I mean? Like that, you can do that with your health and wellness. You just have to really change your old stories around it, right? Like, I don't know why the hell we hang on to our stories like daggers sometimes. Like, it feels so real.
I know.
You've told yourself, but you can tell yourself your new story over and over again, and you can change that image and therefore change, well, you know how it goes.
Yeah.
Determine your feelings, determine your actions, determine your results.
Yeah. So our health is literally all we have, and we're completely in control of it. Are you kind of nervous the way the future's looking? Like, have you ever watched the movie WALL-E?
No.
You should watch that movie. At the end, like, I sometimes feel like that's what's happening is like nobody walks anymore. We're all transported by these hoverboards, and we have Uber Eats, and things can just be delivered at our fingertips, and our bodies aren't moving, and we weren't designed to sit.
No, and it makes me sad when I see, like, you know, the numbers of obesity just going up all the place, all the time. But it's not going to stop me from being a bright lighthouse for people who are looking for a different way, you know? And that's really what I think is so important, why I love to work with moms and leaders like you guys, because you have a platform. And if you guys can go from, you know, being unhealthy, unhappy in your bodies or whatever, and like turning it around at whatever age and doing it in a sustainable way, that is the thing. Like, I think that's what stops a lot of people, is because anybody can like lose 20, 30 pounds for a moment in time by having tunnel vision while their life goes to shit in the background, right? Like, or the second you stop doing all the things compulsively and obsessively, like, you just gain it back, right? So what I'm like so passionate about is it just becoming a part of who you are, your identity, and doing it in a sustainable way. Like I said, it was my son's birthday, and he had the best birthday cake in the world. And I had it last night, and I had it after lunch today. And, you know, that's just, it's okay, because I don't do that all the time. Whereas like in the past, if I would have done that, I would have been like, oh my God, I have to go for like a 2-hour run with like sweat bags on, and like, or like one of those sweatsuits, you know, really crazy things to try and fix it. And so like your whole day is consumed from like, you know.
I used to wear a garbage bag.
So did I.
Gym. Oh my gosh. I just had that vision. Yep. I would come out and people would stare at me in the women's locker room as I took my clothes off, and then I unpeeled my garbage bags and sweat just poured down me.
Oh my God. I did the same thing. And I actually bought an Everlast sweatsuit, and it literally looked like I was a fucking astronaut. And Will's like, babe, what are you doing? I'm like, going for a run. He's like, in that thing, you're gonna sweat to death. I'm like, that's the point.
That's the point. Pull me off the side of the road. I know. I used to do that too. Like when I first met my husband, he's like, I can hear you. It'd be like swish, swish, swish.
Oh my God. It's like a 1979 commercial, you know, where they're like standing on that vibrating thing with their martini glass.
You know what I love, Danielle? What I think sets you apart from everybody else out there in the fitness and coaching, like what you do, is that majority of your course is the mindset work. And it is to where you're going to see, like you said, sustainable results, because I've done everything out there. I did Beachbody, I've done all the online workouts, but none of it teaches you the mindset that you need and how you need to look at it to be forever lasting and to change everything moving forward. Because I did the Beachbody, I lost all the weight, but then when I was done the program, I just went back to what I was doing and all the weight came back. So what you're doing is, that's exactly how it goes. And what you're doing is you're making mindset such a part of the program that it's changing your thought about how you nourish your body and changing the thought about, like you just said, eat the cake if you want it and don't beat yourself up that you ate a piece of cake. Like, know that, acknowledge that you did it. It's okay. You can still have it, but then your next meal, go back to how you feel to know what you're going to eat serves you and makes you feel good, right? So I know that what you're doing and now being in your program and having your mentorship is changing the mind, body, and soul industry with fitness attached to it. And it's going to make a world of a difference for everybody. So, I mean, if you're looking for something like this, where you've always battled, your thoughts on nutrition, your thoughts on eating, your thoughts on working out, please reach out to Danielle or us and we can give you Danielle's information, because it really has transformed my mindset around getting in a place where I'm comfortable, feeling good, and staying there, and not my old thoughts of, I'm going to do this, I'm going to get to where I want to, and I'm going to feel good. And then I just fall off the rails and go back to it because I didn't have the mindset attached to,
and then
that this is going to be forever. This is just a quick fix. And that's how I always looked at everything.
Yeah. And that's exactly what I had to do to get to where I am right now. I had to learn about mindset. I had to dive kind of deeper into, like, why do I think that way about myself? Why do I have that relationship with food? And how would I rather feel about myself and my body, and come from that place? So thank you. I'm really glad it's working for you too, right? Because I had to live it. And you're right, like food stuff and weight issues, and it all does come in all shapes and sizes. And I work with a variety of women, but I think the common goal is, I want to feel good. I want to feel good. I want to feel confident. I want to feel happy with myself. And that looks a little different to everybody, but it's totally friggin' available for you. You just need a little help and tools and a system to get you there.
And accountability, right? Like I think that's key. And it's true. It's what Kaily said. It's like, you lose the 20 pounds, 30 pounds, 40 pounds, then what? Right? It's switching that mindset of, there's no end date.
Totally.
There's no end date,
totally
right?
Okay to have accountability in areas of life where you need it, right? Like, we're all good at some things and not so good at others or whatever. And that's totally okay, and until you can learn it and you do become, it's about your foundation, right? If you can solidly maintain this foundation, then you can always come back to it. Like, it's all about getting back in your lane. Like, I notice when I start to neglect my nutrition or movement, I just get back in, right? Like, it's not a big deal. I'm at that point where, like, the other thing is again, you guys, talk about self-image and things like that. You get to a point where it's your new normal to move your body. It's your new normal to make the good choices for food and to sleep enough and, to
believe.
Yeah.
Right? Just believe. Like, I made believing my new normal.
Yeah. It's, I think it's just, and some people have been so unhappy with themselves or unhealthy in their bodies for so long, they don't think like it's, again, available to them. So if that's you listening, then I would invite you to just say, it's possible. It's possible for me, to do that. And it really helps when you can find people who have done the thing that you want to do and are able to sustain it.
Yeah.
It exists. So why not for you?
Absolutely. Right. It's just like changing a job. You can change a job and you can adapt to that new, career. It's the same thing with your mindset. Same thing with your health, food.
Yeah. And I don't look at it kind of like you guys, because you guys are not just living jobs. You're living your purpose and you're creating this wonderful way of being. And you can do that with your fitness and health, I believe, too. The better you can get it to feel for you, because it's in alignment with you and your preferences. Like, eat the foods you like, move your body in ways that are fun and feel good. Do you like Zumba? Do you like cycling? Do you like yoga? Then go do that. It doesn't have to be this,
Yeah.
thing that includes burpees if you fucking hate them, right?
Fucking hate burpees.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's so true though. And it doesn't have to be like 3 hours of torture.
No.
Like I was actually shocked when you gave me my fitness. Like I was used to 7 days a week and then you bring me down to 4, right? So yeah,
No.
it's amazing.
It's unnecessary. Like I used to train 6 days a week or 7 and would take like a day off every month or something. And I'm just like, but that doesn't work for me now. That doesn't feel good to me now. So I do what does work for me now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it totally is where you can reprogram your thoughts to your new mindset. And then, you know, it's just like cruise control. You're feeling good. You're on that path. And when you go off, you recognize it and you come back on, and you're changing that every single day with diving into the material and working on your mindset and thinking about the things that make you happy and feel good. And I love that you said earlier, Danielle, that you were in a place where you recognized that you needed help. So you invested in a mentor to teach you the things that you needed to know about nutrition, right? And that's what is that what started it all for you to learn that stuff?
Well, I haven't been investing in coaches forever. Like when I was gymnastics, I had a gymnastics coach. Well, thank you, Mom and Dad, for paying for that. But then when I got into competing, I invested in some really big coaches and I learned different things from them. One was like bro dieting. It worked. Macros. It worked until it didn't anymore, right? Like but I learned all the different ways. And that's why I have such a well-rounded approach, and I can understand all the things that people have tried and done and what they're like, because I've done them too. And so that's also why I'm good at helping people find what works for them. So, but yes, yeah, I definitely again, I had all this knowledge and background in how to transform bodies. But I had never done it from a place of like holistic health. And so when I said my hormones was a hot mess in my mindset and things like that, yeah, it was all about finding what my body needed. And so I had done like food sensitivity tests with the naturopath, and like all the foods that I had been like bombarding my body with, like asparagus and tilapia and chicken. I was what's it called? I had food sensitivities to those things because like I had been like using them for so long, I guess. And I don't know, it was such a weird thing, but yeah, just so I found like what foods work for me, and just did these different protocols and healed my body. And then over time I was able to go back to like, you know, the pizza or the wine and the things like that in moderation. But I always come back to like from a place of nourishment. And so since then, that's been more my focus on like hormonal and digestive health. And thank God for Trisha, our assistant coach, right? Because she's the registered holistic nutritionist, and she has brought even more knowledge into that and being able to serve our clients at a higher level, because she just has that expertise even more so than myself.
Yeah, she's awesome too. She really helped me out, especially around that time of the month.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. It makes a difference.
That's wild when people say as the program goes on, their symptoms become less and less around their cycle, or it becomes more and more regular. Like your body's getting happier.
Yeah.
What it is. And when your body's happy, your mind is happy. When your mind is happy, they complement each other 100%.
Yep. 100%.
Yeah,
awesome.
Like we all love coffee. I just want to say something about that. I'm not coffee forever, but that was part of my problem with my adrenal fatigue, because I was taking lots of caffeine and ephedrine and things like that, and just like bombarding my nervous system every single day. And that was the only thing that made me feel alive was stimulants, right? Like I was so reliant on them, and our bodies aren't meant to like have a natural sort of steady energy throughout the day. And so rediscovering that was beautiful.
Yeah.
Like I'm always watching that.
Yeah.
You know, kind of 2 cup a day, 3 cup a day. And then I'll go back down to none for a while. Like it just, again, feeling it out.
Yeah. So I was listening to Peter Sage. I've been doing his course right now, and he talks about coffee too. And he talks about how it is the #1 drug in the world. And he says, go 10 days without coffee and come and tell me how your headaches are. Yeah, he does talk about the nervous system too. So with you telling me and Trisha telling me and now listening to Peter Sage, like it's true.
Yeah, and it adds to your anxiety too, right?
Yep.
That's what I find a lot of like my new moms or anybody. If you're always like you're relying on caffeine to keep you awake, but it's keeping you anxious, it's keeping these racing thoughts, and you just want to like stop and be like, lose yourself in a bowl of ice cream or a bag of chips just to kind of
stop the jitters
from your own thoughts, right?
Yeah.
People don't realize that that's it. The things that drive you to eat when you are not physically hungry, that's another thing that like really needs to be understood about yourself. Like, why are you at the cupboard yet again for the 10th time within the hour, right?
It's so true.
What's going on in your mind, like this neural circuit that you've trained so much, right? Like don't feel bad about it, but just notice and get curious about it. Like, what is that?
Yeah.
What is that I'm running from or trying to suppress or whatever? Like, yeah.
It's so true. So Donnie and I, we don't watch a lot of TV anymore. Mm-hmm. Occasionally we'll sit down and, COVID, so there's not really many places to go for date, but we'll sit down and we'll like watch a movie, and it'll be after we've finished dinner, and he'll get up and I'm like, where are you going? He's like, oh, I need a snack. I'm like, you're not hungry. And then he'll stop and be like, you're right. I'm like, I know. It's just because we're watching TV and this is what we did. We would sit in front of the TV and we would snack. Like, that's all it is. So now it's becoming aware.
Awareness is everything, right? Because these habits, like they're all connected, right? Our brain is so well trained to conserve energy and just it does what it's used to, right? Because it wants to save you the trouble. So if you always snack in front of the TV, it's going to be like all of a sudden you're in front of the fridge and you're just like, how did I get here? It's just because
if you keep going, like the movie theater, right? Like you don't go to the movie theater without having something in front of you. So it's all connected.
Yeah, totally. But you can create a new neural network.
Yep. That was my biggest thing. I sent Danielle a text and I'm like, I'm having a craving. Like that's what I did every night. We sat in front of the TV, watched a show, watched a movie, and we had chips or popcorn or like we snacked. That's what you pair it with, right? So when all of a sudden you've been doing that for years and then you just say you take it away and until I thought like I'm really not hungry. It's just something I did. It's a habit, right? So I was like, I'm not even hungry. I just think that I need something because I did it.
Yeah, for so long, right? And so it helps to replace that with something for sure too.
Yeah. But you do offer us some healthy snacks, which have helped a lot. So grateful for that.
You're welcome. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you gotta have the real deal too, and like that's the thing. Like with that cake, it was a mindful decision. Like I thought about, how much would satisfy me and what the consequences, if there were any of me having it. And like, no, this is good. It's when people just do it from a place of impulse or because everybody else is like cake pressuring them, or whatever, right? There's so many reasons we will again eat that. So it's just like taking back that mindfulness and like, do I really want this? Is there another option?
Yep.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Sarah.
And it's not like, okay, I'm going to have this cake and then that's it. The whole day's ruined. So I'm just going to keep eating crappy food.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Fuck mode.
Yeah.
For real. I used to be that way. I'm like, well, I already messed up, so I'll start again tomorrow. And it's like, no, have that meal. And a really big thing I learned from you, Danielle, is when you do something like that, don't say it's a cheat meal because like you taught me that cheat has a negative thought attached to it, that you're cheating, that it's not good. So when I changed it to, I'm just having a indulgence meal or I'm indulging a little bit and I'm treating myself, that's okay. And then you pick up at your next meal or your next snack with a healthy option, right? So that really changed it for me too, because the cheat was connected exactly what Sarah just said. Well, I just cheated. I might as well just do what I want for the rest of the day. And then tomorrow I'll start fresh.
Yeah.
That's not my mindset anymore.
And it's that scarcity deprivation mindset too, when we think, okay, now I've already screwed it up. So now is my chance to have all the food I know I won't be allowed. I've got quotation, like, that I won't be able to be allowed to have when I get back on my diet, right? I have to go back to like starving myself and saying no to everything. So I might as well have it now, right? And that's the other mentality that messes up people. It's like, no, you're allowed to have whatever food in like whatever quantity you want at any time. The food's not going anywhere, but you get to be mindful about where along the journey that is, right? Like every day isn't a special occasion. You don't have to, you know, do takeout every day or whatever, right? You know, but to have it for, you know, date night, something mindful, you know, and anyways, like I always say part of the plan is going off plan.
Yeah.
You got to.
Absolutely. Or you go crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Can you tell our audience the name of your free Facebook group?
Yes, it's called Yes, the F You Can with Danielle Rubin. And I'm actually I do lots of fun free trainings in there just around mindset and things like that. Like I just did one on Tuesday that was 5 top limiting beliefs that, you know, are keeping around your ability to lose weight or get fit.
Mm-hmm.
One of them, for example, is I have fat genes, or genetically, it's not in my makeup. You look at your whole family and maybe they're all overweight, so it's not available to you. And so you just kind of decide that this is it. This is, you know, this is what I was born with. Is that absolutely true?
Yeah.
Things like that.
Yep. Awesome. Well, go check her out on Facebook. And if you guys have any questions, you can email us at mindsettheory101@gmail.com or check us out on Facebook as well.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you so much for your time, Kaily. We'll talk to you next week.
Talk to you later, ladies. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.